Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, actually, other participants have texted me that they have some exams this week, and that's the reason they are not attending. So, inshallah, I will not take much time today so that we can cover more when they are available, inshallah. So, Abdul Arif, you were asking about the project. I want you to develop some web page or application using any of the front end. The most easiest would be HTML. Other things you can use JSP or PHP or .NET or Angular, anything you can use. But I would recommend you to use that language which is comfortable to your partner. Because I wanted you to form teams and do the project in teams, right? So in the case of females, Zishan and Mehraj, both of them are attending regularly, and there is another student, she may join next week, inshallah. So 3 of them will form a group, and they will try to develop a simple web page, and behind that web page there will be some lines of code which will be running. For example, there will be a web page, a basic HTML page that opens. On that HTML page, we can run a simple calculator. Like that HTML page will take 2 numbers, 1 and 2 for example, and when you enter 1 and 2, it will give you the summation of those 2 numbers. So the back-end summation code can be written in any of the 2 languages that we are learning. For example, it can be C++ or Python. And the web page, the front end, will be in the language HTML, or you can use any other front-end language. That's not a problem. So Zishan, are you understanding what I am saying? In the project, what you have to do, I am trying to explain you.
Yeah, I'm able to.
Yeah, let me check if I have some HTML page now so that I can show you how it opens. I just wrote an HTML page 1 or 2 weeks ago. Let me check if it's here on my desktop. Index. I think no, it's not here. Okay, no problem. A simple HTML page will be like, if you consider this as a web page, this is also a web page, but here this web page is being hosted, but our HTML page that we are trying to keep in our project is just a static page that will be that can be loaded in your own machine. I mean the local machine. Okay, so if you want to learn HTML, it's not a very big deal. You can learn it from the there is some tutorials website. I think you can know it. Yeah, W3 schools. This is the most easiest way to learn HTML. If you want to develop just a simple web page, if I want you to show very quickly, so I took this one, this one, and I am trying to write it in the notepad. Okay, because Zishan, you are very new to this HTML document. That's why I just want you to say how we can write any HTML page, and I am trying to save it in on my desktop. Okay, and the type of this would be index.html. You need to have that extension for that. Okay, and here I have it on my desktop, this index.html. And this index.html, whatever I have written in this index.html, that is being displayed here. So let me try to edit this again so that you can see what I have written in this HTML page. See here, the HTML will always follow a syntax. This doc type HTML is kind of an header which is showing that this is a HTML document. And HTML is the header and this is the end of this thing. Always any HTML document will be written in these two tags, which is HTML start and HTML end. And every HTML page or document can contain two major sections. One is the head section and another is the body section. So in the head section, you can write the title or subtitles or any of the descriptions that you want to keep in your HTML document. So the header section will start with this tags head, the less than and greater than symbols, and the title. So everything will follow this kind of syntax. Everything, this is totally a tagged language. You will have all the tags in your document. Okay, and see here, we have ended the head here. We have started the head tag here and ended here. Whereas the title tag is starting here and ending here. I can write this one as a sample calculator. Calculator by Zisha. For example, we are trying to do this. And in the body section, I am trying to write, hey, enter the numbers. And this is H1 means header 1. Likewise, we have 6 types of headers in HTML. You want to you can use anything. So what is this header means? It means just a form of it will have different fonts and it will have different sizes. So here we are trying to use the H1 header. It means it will give you in one of the size format. And the P means paragraph. So these kind of various tags are there in HTML language, which will allow you to create a simple static web page that can be loaded on your local host. What I mean by local host is means which is local to your machine, which is into your machine. Host means something which allows a web page to run. That is called as a host. Okay, so when we are take the scenario of guest and host. When someone is coming to your house, you would be called as a host. And who is the guest? The one who is coming. So which is taking something, allowing something, that would be called as host. So our machine is a local host, and this will allow a simple web page to run here. Okay. You got it right. In this HTML, you can use different kind of things. You can use Python in this. You can use Java. You can use Angular. You can use JSP. You can use CSS. Any of the programming language, it will allow you to custom or integrate with HTML. So this is the very basic thing, and you can do it by yourself. See here, I have tried this thing, and now I'll save this document. Okay, I am saving, and I close, and I'll show you again what is being displayed here. See, I have written enter the numbers, and this is a paragraph. You can keep some image here. You can keep something which is scrolling, and so here my aim is not to make you a web developer or not to make you a website designer, but I want you to how you can integrate two different languages for and web page designing or something on the front end and back end designing is the most basic thing you want to do for any project. And currently it's like everybody can do this. Every coding person, every programming person knows how to do this. And that's the reason I want you to integrate at least two different languages. If you are comfortable with this, in future I can help you to integrate Python with machine learning and Python with the other. I agree with you, Mr. Abdul Arif, that we have to use Angular and other like Bootstrap and all these things. So, but of course that is not. I mean, only for front end designing, it's not a big deal. You can use it, but for back end, that would be very challenging, and that would help you to build up your skills. So inshallah, we'll also try to learn that thing too, inshallah. So always remember that the back end designing, I mean to say the back end, I mean the one which we write the code. For example, for the menu calculator or a sample calculator, you want to write some code in Python, right? Or you have to write the code in C++. That is a major requirement here. The front end is not a big deal. You can do it as you wish, and it's very easy. I'm actually saying I wanted you to have some classes on HTML too, but we will not find much time to give you classes on HTML. That's the reason I want you to explore this programming language, or anything is fine for front end, but for the back end you have to use only Python and C++ because we are learning these two languages. So Zishan, are you able to understand what I mean by backend?
Yeah.
Okay, so you understood. Here in the same
That
HTML.
which
Yeah, tell me please.
That which is behind the working of the things which are seen is backend. No?
Yes. For example, now I have written these two HTML lines of sentences, which is showing me enter the numbers, and this is a paragraph. And to this, I mean, where it is open with yeah. So in this same document, I can write some of the Java codes of lines of codes, or JavaScript lines of codes, and also I can write Python lines of code. So if I do those lines of code, that will be running as the backend. You can write in the same document, or you can write into another document, but I recommend you to write it in the same document because you don't have to connect the documents. If you write in another document or another file, you have to connect this file and that file. So why to complicate your task when you are in the beginning stage? It's better to write all of the things in one page. If you want to know more how you can integrate HTML and Python, you will find it here itself, I hope. Let me check if it's giving some Python and HTML. Python and HTML. Not only this website, some of the websites will help you how you can integrate Python and HTML in one document. It's not very complicated. It's easy. I hope you can do it, inshallah. If you have doubts, please let me know. So the first simple task that I want you to do is create a calculator which will have a menu. The menu will be asking you want to do like sum and the subtraction, the 4 to 5 basic calculation, multiplication, division, and modulus, right? Let me increase the size here. Yeah. So I want you to have a calculator which will first display the things on the web page. What it will display you? The menu. So just tell me, until the point of time you have learned in C++ and Python, how you can create a menu, using which rule or which statement or which loop, how you can create a menu.
Switch case.
Yeah, we can use a switch case in C++. Of course, you are right. And if you are going with C++, that's fine. I don't have any objection. You have to learn C++ and Python too. So in that menu, it will be asking if you want to do subtraction, or if you want to do summation, or if you want to do multiplication, or if you want to go for division or modulus. So these kind of questions you have to ask in the menu. After that, as per the user gives the input, you have to allow the user to enter two numbers. So for allowing the user two numbers, how you can give is, I'll give you a simple hint. In HTML, they will allow you to keep text fields. So if you search here how to create a text field in HTML, you will get it here somewhere. I can search here. No, this is for Google search. This is more complicated. Elements or and attributes. You will get it in the elements and attributes or EID. You'll find it here. Okay, do not worry much. If you go step by step, you will find it. It's very easy. After that, you will enter some two numbers and then display the output on the same web page. What would be the output? If the user enters sum, I want to do sum, you have to ask the user to enter two numbers and then give the output. So for doing this problem, how you will proceed, how you will start up. This is a very simple project and very basic thing. How will you start up? So for solving any project or building any project, the most important thing would be the startup. If you have a right plan in your brain, you can easily do that project. So the right plan would be is first try to solve this problem using just a backend. I mean to say, just any of the C++ or Python. Once you are done with this part, go with the HTML. Go with the, or else start with the HTML. Okay, just I'll give you some guidelines here. Okay, break the project into parts. If you have your partner who is free and who can contribute to your project, then ask them to work on any one of the part. How will you break the project? In the front end and back end, or else call it as the HTML part and second call it as C++ or Python part. After this, the two parts has been made, you have to go for integration. Okay, once you practice this thing for 2 to 3 types of simple projects, you can make a big project and you don't have to break it in these parts. You can just start it from scratch and write it with the integration itself. You will not have to break that into so many parts. Okay, you got it right? How we can create this? Abdul Arif, just I would like to hear something from you. How you will try to solve this project?
I'll make everything as a different layer in here, so that I can manage it properly. Like HTML UI part is different, and what is it? C++ the coding, or C++ or whatever it's Python, the code is different. Like that,
Yes.
I will maintain.
Okay, yeah. So just tell me, what language do you want to use? Do you want to go for HTML
Python.
or you want to go for something else?
Oh, that one. No, I don't know about my partner. How you what do you know? I have to check with them. If we find with JSP or AngularJS, I'll go with the same thing. Otherwise, I'll go with the HTML.
For now, what I suggest you is go with the simple terms, because we are more concentrated, more focused on these two languages. We are learning here this thing. So the other language we have to select somewhat simple, which your partner is also comfortable with. So both of you can take different parts, and once you are successfully able to run these two parts without any errors, go for integration of these two parts. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Inshallah. So it's very basic project. I don't mean that your project is going to be this. This is just a pre-project. I can say a pre-project, a preparation for you to make your hands and brain work together for a project development. Okay. Nobody actually goes with the simple problem solving like this. Everybody gives you a big project and want you to solve. But what I have faced, whenever we get a big project, we don't know where to start. Until and unless we have some kind of practice, we don't know where to start. And that's the reason we have to go with simple projects. Okay. Yeah. Now I would like to continue the class which we have left in the last class, is about the nested loops. So the nested loops in Python is similar to the nested loops that we have learned in C++. So nested loop, I mean two loops, one loop after the other loop. So in the next nested loop, we'll have two for loops. The inner for loop runs first and then the outer for loop runs. Okay. Here I have shown you one example. If you can see this one, we have a list. I have introduced you the list in the last class. This is a list of numbers and this is another list of characters. And these two lists I am trying to run in a nested loop. So in the first for loop, what I am trying to take is a variable which is called n, which will be running the numbers of this number list. Okay. And then print n. Inside this, I have another for loop which is starting from using this character L on the list alpha, and then I am trying this one. So just try to understand this for loop as we did in C++. Just tell me what will be the output for this loop, how it will be printed.
First it will print 1 and then ABC and then 2 ABC, 3 ABC, 4 ABC.
Yes, let us check this one. Okay. Okay, so let me run this program. The same thing I have copied here, and let us see the output, what it will be.
Is it a nested loop?
Yes.
It is not a nested loop, right?
This one? Are you sure?
This one is not nested. Yes, I think.
How?
Because the tab is not there for second.
Yes. So you have to be careful here. If I am going to run this like this, so you can see the output here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ABC. The for loop is printing first. The number list with this for loop is printing first, and then the alpha list with this loop, it's running second. First, it's printing 1 to 5 and then it's printing ABC. If I keep it like this, so it means that this for loop is the outer loop and this for loop is the inner loop which is running inside this. And then I am printing. When I run this lines of codes, what will be the output? So this is the output that you have just told 1 ABC, 2 ABC, 3 ABC. So what does this mean? For the first time, this for loop is taking the first number. What is the first number? It's 1. And after taking the first number, it's going here and printing the first number, going into the inner loop. And inner loop is fully running. Okay, this inner loop will fully run and then come outside when the list is completed, A, B, C. It goes to the outer loop again, and the outer loop will be taken as 2, and this runs again. So got it? So the indentation, you have to be very careful in writing loops, especially when you are writing the nested loops. Okay? Yeah. We'll go to the next example. Here we have another nested loop, and I will try to take this nested loop and see what will be the output of this nested loop. I already have this written here. So let me just try to execute this one. Okay. Yeah. So this nested loop, what I am trying to do is I took 2 lists, color and fruits. For C in color, C is a variable which is trying to run all the elements of this list. And F is another variable which is trying to run all the elements in fruits list. Now I am printing C and F. So how will it print me? First C will be red and all the elements of F will be printed. It means red, comma, apple, banana and cherry. Likewise, the second time the outer for loop will take yellow, and then the inner for loop all the elements will be printed. Okay? This way. See, the first element of the first list and all the 3 elements of the second for loop. First element of the first list and all the 3 elements of, okay? So you understood what is the purpose of inner loop and outer loop. Okay? And we'll move forward. This is, yeah. Here we can also use else in for loop. So what is the purpose of else in for loop? It's not like if else, but very similar to if else. When we are using else in for loop, how it will give us the output, just we'll try to understand it with this example here. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is right now. Try to see this this example. What we have for x in the range 6 and print x, else print finally finished. So what does this else means here is once the range has finished, the range has successfully reached to the point, then print this thing. Okay. Do you got this one? Maybe you will understand it by the output. The range is started from 0 until 5, and then it's printing finally finished. Okay. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let us go to the another example that we have here for you. is this one. We are trying to create a menu using while loop. We have not seen any of the examples of while loop in Python. We have seen it in C++, but we haven't done much in Python, and that's the reason I have selected one problem, which is taking a while loop to display a menu. And that menu will have only 3 options. What are the 3 options? 1, 7, and X. So when it's 1, it will give us some chemical engineering. And if it's 7, it will give us electrical engineering. And when it's X, it gives us exit. Okay, these are the only 3 options in our menu. After displaying the menu, we will ask the user to enter any of the choice from him. I mean, we'll ask the user to give some input. Once we got the input, if the input is 1, we'll print the code of that engineering. It can be chemical or electrical, or if the user gives X, then we'll print goodbye. So just I'll try to write this thing. Okay. Using a while loop. Here, I am trying to create a menu. Okay. Menu, I mean to say, I am using only print statements to give a list. In the list, what I'm saying, please select a major from the list. And one is CSE. I just a little bit changed it. Second is civil, and X, if the user gives X, then it would be exit. So firstly, I'm trying to initialize a variable called choice as S. Why I am initializing it as S? So that I can have some variable, and it will have a some content in that variable. Okay. Like this. Okay. Yeah. After this menu has been created, what I am doing is I am using a while loop, which will take some condition here with a semicolon, with a colon, right? And the condition, what I am saying is the while loop has to run until and unless the user has pressed X. If the user has pressed X, what does this mean? You have to exit the loop. You have to finish. Okay, this is our condition, right? Isn't it? We have only 3 options, 1, 7, and X. If X, then it has to exit. Okay. Yeah. Now, firstly, after this while loop has started, I am asking the user to enter the major, select the major. Here, I am now taking the input from the user and storing that input in the variable choice. When I give input and something like this, what kind of input the console will take it? It will take any string or character, right? It will take any string or character. If I don't give any specific data type here, it will take it as a string or character. After that, in this while loop, after the user has given the choice, I am saying if the choice is equals to 1, I have to print this thing. Okay, the code of the code CSC or something like this. We know that 1 we have taken as CSC, that's why I have given like this. And the version of else if in Python is elif, and if the choice is given like this, here all the things are taken as characters. See, characters. The reason I gave here initialize the variable choice is that the program understand that this choice has to take a character. It has to, when I write a equals to 5, what does this program understands? A is a type of integer. Got it? So the reason we have initialized choice here is to understand that this is a type of character. Okay. Once we have got all choices, we'll print it. If any of these choices are not there, we'll print invalid choice. Okay, invalid choice. Let us see the output of this program. So what we have, it's showing us the list and asking us to select the major. If I write 1, it will give me code CSC, and it's again asking me to select the major. I give 2. It says invalid choice because I have not written any code for 2. It's again asking me to select major. I'll select X. It says me goodbye. Now I want to ask you one question here. Every time I see only select major, this line of code, but every time if I want to have the menu to be displayed before this, I want every time the menu has to be displayed, not only just for one time. What can I do in that case? I want this menu to be displayed every time the while loop runs. How can I do that?
We can keep it in method.
Keep it in the
method, and we can call in the every while instead of while loop.
Okay, yes, I can keep this thing inside of while loop. If I keep it inside of while loop, every time the while loop runs, the menu will be displayed. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll go with the other examples that we learned in the last. Yeah, I have one homework for you. Is you have to modify the same program, this program that we did here, the choice program, using do while loop. Sorry, no, do while loop would be in C++. Okay, no problem. If you are trying to solve this problem in Python, you go for while loop itself. Okay, and modify the same program to give this list of major. What is this list? It has 1 to 7 choices, and X is for exit. For every choice, we have to display the code of that engineering. If it's a chemical engineering, it will give us CHME. So if the condition is equals to 1, it has to give CHME. If condition equals to, then you have to give something like this. Okay, the reason I am giving you this is only to practice the while loops and do while loops in C++. Okay, yeah. The next is the break statement. We have already seen what is meant by a break statement and how we can use it. Here is one example of break statement. So we have a list which is running from 1 to 9, and after this list I am using a for loop which is running from I to number. I mean, it's running through the list number, and then I am printing. Just try to tell me the output of this line of code. Okay, what will be the output of this thing? Here is a break statement example. We have this list, and this list is running using the I variable, and print I. If I equals to 6, break. What will be the output? Because you know the usage of break, right? You know the 1 and 4. And how about you, Arif?
1, 4, 6 will print, and after that will come out.
Okay, let us see. This is the output 1, 4, 6. See here, Zishan, we are running this loop from I to numbers, right? Every time it will print the number and then go down. Print the number and then go down. All these things are in this for loop. I1 will be printed, check. This condition is not true, so it will go back to the for. 4, this condition is not true, so it will not go here. After printing 6, it will go here. It will check for 6, and then the output will be checked. I mean, this thing will be checked, and yes, 6 is equals I. So the condition will break here. The for loop will be, so the output here would be 1, 4, and 6. Okay. For this line of codes, we'll go to the other one. Okay. Now tell me what will be the output of this thing. Sorry, this is a continuous statement, or we have something else in the break here. Yeah. Okay. We'll take this thing. We'll take this thing too and print it. Now tell me the output of this one. Okay. This is another example of break. Now we have another list. In this example, what I did is, instead of printing here, I am printing after the break. So what will be the output of this program?
There is no output, it seems.
Because in this for loop, we are not printing after checking, after running this for loop. We are just directly going to check I equals to 6. And if it has reached, we are breaking. So actually, it will not give us any input. I want you to think of some lines of code which will, after checking 6, print the number 6. So I'll show it here. This would be your homework too. First would be the practice of while or do while loop using C++ or Python and this program. And second thing would be, please modify the same program with this list for loop, print, and the break statements, and modify the program in such a way that you have to print I, only I, with I equals to 6, and then break the loop. Okay? Do you understand what I said?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you will be doing it, inshallah. Sorry, do you ask something? Okay. We'll go with the continuous statement. Okay, inshallah. This is the example of continuous statement. What we are trying to do is the same lines of code. The first case that we took for the break, instead of break, we kept continue. So can you understand what will be the output of this thing? There is list and the number, and the list is running using I. We are printing I. If I equals 6, continue. What will be the output?
It will print all the values.
Yes, it will print all the values because we are not asking it to break. Even if I is equals to 6, please continue. Please go back and run the loop until it ends. So this was the meaning of this continue. Okay. There is another example of continue. Okay. Here it is. This example of continue, what it's doing, for I equals 6, continue print I. Now tell me what will be the output of this thing.
Same. It will print all.
It will print all. Are you sure?
All. Just a minute. It won't print anything.
Are you sure?
Just a minute. Sorry.
So what it's doing is
Skipping this number 6.
Yeah, it skipped the number 6 when I is equals to, so in the first case what happens, Kishan, are you following me? In the first case, when I is equals to 1, it will check if I equals to 6. No, this is not equals to 6, so it will not enter this F statement. And after this F statement is continue. So if this condition is not true, the 1 will not go here. It will directly be printed here. Okay, good. Now it goes back to the loop and the second number is 4. When the number is 4 here, it will again tries to check with this if statement if I is equals to, no, this is not 4, so it will come here and print 4. Go back to the loop and it will be 6 this time. If I equals to 6, yes, that is equals to 6. It's asking it to continue the loop. So what you have to understand, that the purpose of continue and break statement is to continue or break the loop. It's not the continue and break of the process. It's not the continue and break of a program, the way of execution. Are you getting my point? The flow is not controlled with these things. What is controlled? The loop, the looping, the for loop will be controlled. So you don't have to understand that this continue means go back here. No. The continue does not mean go back here. Go with the flow. Yani, however is the execution going on, go in that line. No, this does not mean this. Go and continue the loop. Okay, you got this right, Zishan?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this thing. I have another example and then that's it. Inshallah. Because I want the other participants too to be present. Yeah, the other example is this one. What is here? Yeah, I covered this example here. So these are some of the examples that we need to understand from the last class. So I have another homework. I'll give you this as an example, but I'll explain you how you can solve this. Okay, this would be your assignment for this week. Okay, do not bother if you have so many things for this week, because last week I did not give you any assignments and any homework. So I want you to really practice on the loops and the nested for, and also this one. So this is for nested for. Okay, so other homework was, this is just a break, and the other homework was do while or while loop. Okay, so these two things, these three things you have to understand. So this would be your assignment. And what is your assignment is write a Python program using nested for loops that will print all the prime numbers between 2 and 10. Okay, how will you do it? I'll just give you some guidelines of how will you do it. This is not the complete program. I'm just giving you as an algorithm. I mean, what will you do is we have already seen that how we can so I'll remove some lines of code so that you will not take the whole program. So we have already seen how we can solve a prime problem. How you can know if a number is prime or not. How we can know if the number has only one and itself factor. I mean to say, the number will have only two factors, which is one and itself. So if you are starting the range, I mean to say, if you are starting from 2, then how many factors that a number should have? If we are starting from 2, we are not starting from 1. If you are starting from 2, how many factors that a number should have? Only 1. What I mean to say, if you see this example, if we are running a loop from 1 to 100 to check if a number n is prime or not, okay? If you are running a loop from 1 to 100, the number n should have at least 2 factors, right? Only 2 factors, not at least. Only 2 factors, which is 1 and n. Okay? But if we are starting the loop from 2 to 100 and check if the number n is prime, what we have to find it out? Only if it has 1 factor, which is n. You can solve this program in 2 different ways. How? By counting the number of factors or by counting the number of divisors. The second thing is just, yes, that would be the easiest one as far as I understand. The counting the number of factors would be the easiest one for you. If you have only 1 factor, then that would be going to be a prime number. So how will you run? Using the range function. We have introduced you the range function in the last class. You can start and stop the range function with some of the ranges you can give 2 to 100. And the second for loop, you will be running from, if you are running from 1 to n, I mean to say from 1 to this number, you need to find 2 factors, right? If you are running from 2 to n, you need to find only 1 factor. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so you got it, right? And for finding factor, how will you do? You will use some if condition, right? If that number which we are trying to understand if it's a prime or not, the number will be from the outer loop. Okay, the number we are trying to analyze is from the outer loop, and the inner loop is actually running from 1 to all the numbers until n. Okay, and this is actually divisible by I equals to 0. If it's really divisible, what does this mean? This is I is a factor of n and it will be counted as the factor 1. Okay, you can use anything here. I am not very concerned about the logic, but just I want you to understand the problem and try to solve it. So this would be your assignment. I'll make an assignment in this website and send you the link to. Then you have to solve it. Apart from this assignment, you have 2 homeworks, one this and one this one. And the third thing that you have is to do a start of the project. So it's not mandatory for you to start it this week. You can also start it next week, but just if you want, if you are very excited, and then really you are welcome and you are free to start it this week too. Okay, so do you have any other doubts? In the next class, I am going to start a very new topic, inshallah, and that's the reason I'm going to class early today. Okay, do you have any other doubts?
No.
Okay, thank you very much for joining and thank you for your time. Jazakumullahu khairan kaseera. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.